Hello, everyone. Welcome to Keepin It Real podcast. Literally cannot believe I'm saying that right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you can clearly see that I am just chilling, hanging out in my tank top and leggings because it is hot as heck here in Florida. But we are chilling. We are in our renovated shed that, shout out my boyfriend. He did a wonderful, wonderful job on this shed. I'm so impressed with him. He took so much time to pour his love and his hard work into the shed and make it a beautiful studio for us. That is where I am today. And we are here with episode 1 of the Keepin It Real podcast. And I'm so excited. I will be your host, McKaleigh, and I can't wait to just bring you guys through my life, through what I've been through. The focus of this whole podcast, Keeping It Real, is going to be to help guide people in the right direction and to also help give them the knowledge that I wish that I had at a younger age, and the knowledge that I have gained from my personal development, from the experiences that I've had in life, just to help people navigate through life and to also, most importantly, spread the love of God, spread the word of God, spread everything God. I really genuinely just am so excited to start this podcast with you guys. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for about 2.5, 3 years now. I really got into podcasting when I started the 75 Hard program. That's when I started listening to people like Andy Frisella, who just inspired me so much to start something like this. I am just so inspired by him and by Sadie Robertson, Madison Pruitt, Girls Gone Bible. There's so many amazing people that I'm inspired by to have started this, and that is why I am here today, because I just want to spread light, spread love, spread joy. And also, we're going to have some real, raw, and honest conversations on here. We're probably going to cry. We're going to get deep. We're going to go into past, and it's going to get heavy at times. But my main goal is to just help you get through it, because there's so many times in my life that I just wish I knew how to get through some of the things that I did. And I didn't know how to. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have what I have now, and I just am so excited. I'm excited. Let's jump right into it. On episode 1 today, I really want to kind of just explain a little bit about myself, just bring you through my story, my life, and just kind of go from there. Again, my name is McKaleigh. I'm 25 years old. I'm originally from a little small town in Rochester, New York, and I am now living in Florida. I moved down to Florida. It'll be 4 years in August. So I love my life down in here in Florida, and we'll get into it. There's just a lot. So growing up, I was in a single family home. It was me and my mom my whole life, basically. And growing up in a single family home, if any of you have done that before, you kind of know how it is. My dad was in my life somewhat here and there, but it really was just me and my mom. My mom's my best friend. She's been my best friend my whole life, and she really did an amazing job at raising me. We came from a very Christian family and very Christian values, and my mom really raised me on that. She raised me knowing God. She raised me in church and everything like that. Even though we had kind of a hard church life when I was little, because when my mom did get pregnant, the church canceled her out to being this horrible person because she was pregnant as a teenager and all those things, and that kind of carried on into my life a little bit, which we'll get there. But growing up in a single family home, it was truly amazing, but it also had its struggles. Growing up as a little girl, not having a dad around really does start to weigh on you in your teenage years, in your after teen years, in your preteen years. Not having a dad around is hard. It's a lot of things. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of emotions as a single mother that get also put on your child. And not that my mom ever meant to, but I was in the middle of a lot of things. And as a little girl, that was hard for me. But I also know now that my mom did the best she could at raising me. And she was there for me through everything. I told my mom everything. And I'm just so thankful for the relationship that we did have. My stepdad has been in my life since I was 2. But of course, he didn't start living with us for a couple years. And I also have a very strong relationship with my stepdad. He's amazing. He's taken me in as his own, and he's really done everything for me. And I'm so, so thankful for him. I started dancing when I was 3 years old, and I've been dancing ever since. And I was a competition dancer. My life revolved around dancing. It revolved around competitions. It revolved around all of that. And it was amazing. I danced every single day, all night long, right after school. And it was my life, and it was me and my mom's life. And my mom did everything she could to keep me in dance, to support my dance, everything. She worked her butt off to pay for my dancing, everything like that. And it was amazing. It's my passion. It's everything that I've ever known, and it's everything that I've ever wanted in my life was to dance, was to be a professional dancer. When I was 5 years old, I used to say, I'm going to live in New York City one day and I'm going to be a professional dancer. And it's crazy that I actually got to live that. So my whole childhood was dance, dance, dance. Loved it, everything about it. Would literally like miss school for it because like what's school? Anyways, I don't know. I wish I didn't do school. I don't like school. But anyways, my whole life was dance right out of high school. Well, actually, during high school, I did the Joffrey Ballet School summer programs. I would go for 2-3 weeks at a time, and I would go to the summer programs. And through the summer programs and through my auditions, I got a scholarship to go to the Joffrey Ballet School. I did apply for a couple colleges and audition for a couple colleges, but I at the end knew that I didn't really want to go to college and I just wanted to dance. So making my decision to go to the Joffrey Ballet School was the best thing that fit me. So right after high school, I went and I danced at the Joffrey Ballet School for 2 years, and I loved it. It was amazing. It was everything that I ever dreamed of. Kind of want to go back into my high school years as well with dance. So, dance being my whole life, I didn't really have time for like the school things or being involved in the school this that the other thing. I did have a boyfriend throughout my high school, and we dated for 5 years, and we were, I thought he was going to be the end all be all. Thank God he's not. I appreciate him, think he's a great person now, but thank God that didn't work out because he is in a great place and I'm in a great place, and that is all that matters. But in that relationship, I really this is crazy. I never really told anyone this stuff, and especially coming on and starting a first podcast and talking about this stuff. We're just getting into it. We're getting into it, you guys. All right, here we go. So, being in that relationship, it was really hard for me. A lot of my dad trauma, my daddy issues really played a role in that relationship. I had no trust. I was psycho. Like literally thinking about it, you guys, this is so embarrassing. I was so embarrassing. And I can't even believe I was this way. But like I was psychotic to the point of like I had to look through his phone. I had to know what he was doing. I had to like just crazy things because my trust issues were so bad from my childhood and from my mom's life with my dad. It gets put on you as a child. And again, I know that wasn't my mom's intention, and I'm not saying anything wrong about what my mom did, but it's just what happens, and that's for any single parent. You put it on your kids, get the end of it that is the hardest because it wears on them so much. And I was in this relationship and we were, we had our good days, but also at the end of it I was so in victim mode with him, and just like my whole high school life I was just such like in victim mode, like poor me, poor me, poor me, and it was just like not a way to live. And I just was like always so sad and just so lost. Like I just never, I can't even remember like a time in my high school where I didn't feel lost. And yes, I had dance, but still, like in my dance, I still was like, poor me, poor me, poor me. I mean, like, I did solos about my life, and my solos were about like being rejected and all this, that, the other thing. And yes, dance was my outlet, and dance was my way to portray what I was feeling and get my emotions out. But I also just wish I didn't live in that victim mentality so much when I was in my high school years. And then, after me and my boyfriend at the time had broken up, it put me in a really dark place because, again, I was feeling that rejection. And that rejection kind of just went through my life, from my dad issues, from from those things. And it's kind of just if you don't have the tools, you don't know how to work through it. So after my relationship with him, I went down a path that I wish I never went down. I, needed the guy's attention. I was into the drinking. I was going to clubs at 18 years old in New York City, drinking all the time, just doing everything I could to get guys' attention. That's like all I cared about. I just cared about the attention. I cared about how many clubs could we get to in that week so that we could go out and party, and I can have this guy tell me I look good, this guy tell me I look good, this guy tell me I'm pretty. It was crazy. And it was just no way to live. I'm not kidding you. If we missed like one day, one night out at the club, I like was not okay. Like I was like, this isn't okay. We need to get to the club. I'm having FOMO. Like I'm not okay. And it was just like toxic. And I just urge anyone in that situation, if you are stuck in that right now, I just urge you to find someone that are going to get you out of that, because being stuck in that constant cycle of partying and getting the guy's attention and looking for the guy that's going to tell you you look good is going to never get you anywhere. It puts you in this dark hole, and it puts you in this dark place that you bury deep inside, that you don't know what's going on until you get out of it and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ruining my life. And I mean, like I said, I was at the Joffrey Ballet School, and all I cared about was partying. All I cared about was going out and getting guys' numbers and finding the guy in the bar that was going to think I was the hottest one there. And it's just, wow. I was at the Joffrey Ballet School, and all I wanted to do was party. And I would go to my friends' colleges on the weekends just so that I could party more and get the attention from those guys at the colleges. And it's, what was I doing? I can't imagine if I was more focused on dancing. I can't imagine if I was as focused on dancing as I was on partying, where my life would be now with dance, because it affected me. My director knew, my teachers knew, everyone knew what I was doing. I was posting it on social media. It's not like you can hide it. And like thinking out now, like that's embarrassing. And I just wish I could go back. And of course, there's, regret and there's all these things, but, I've healed from it. I've grown from it, and I know better now, but I also wish I knew better then. So, fast forward, I'm at the Joffrey Ballet School, and then I start dating this other guy. And that was a really toxic relationship for me in a lot of ways that I'm really not going to mention on here because it's not really worth it. But long story short, I got cheated on multiple times and I kept going back. And I kept going back because I just felt like that was my worth. Like, this is what I'm worth. I'm worth getting cheated on. I'm worth feeling like this. This is what I deserve. All these lies and all these meanings in my head that weren't actually facts. And the same line that they do, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. I love you. You're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm in love with you. And then 2 weeks later you catch him again. And I mean, I caught him, you guys. Like, yeah. Anyways, 3 or 4 times like actually caught, but it's okay. All good. So, anyways, and being cheated on, I genuinely feel like being cheated on and also coming from a fatherless home is a hurt that, unless you've come from a fatherless home and been cheated on, I don't think you understand the hurt that you feel until you experience all that. I was lost. I was broken. I was hurt. The enemy had me in his hand, and he was using everything he could to ruin my life. After that, the attention from guys got 1,000 times worse just because I needed to heal that wound. I needed to know that I was good enough. I needed to know that someone wanted me. I needed to know that I couldn't be rejected. I needed all of that to feed me instead of feeding myself and instead of God feeding me. And in those years of my life, I didn't know God anymore. I grew up as the church girl. I went to the church camps. I was praising God. I was up there worshiping. Like, I was so involved in God when I was younger. And after that relationship and in my New York City days, I mean, I didn't even know God. I was, like I said, in the enemy's palm of his hand. And I just think back on like how much I was hurting God and how much God didn't want that for me. He didn't want my life to be like that. And I wasn't listening to him, and I was doing everything against his word. And I was doing everything against his will. And yeah, it's hard to look back because I also look back at my pictures and my videos and I'm like disgusted with myself. Like, my hair was straw, I had pimples all over, like I was just so unhealthy. And the only thing I could control was how much attention I could get from guys, and that control took over my life. And I was drinking, I was just in the wrong crowd. I had no one around me pushing me in the right direction to go towards God, and I had no one pushing me into the direction to do better in my life, because also my family didn't really know what was going on, and my family probably still doesn't really know what's going on, but I guess they're gonna find out when they listen to this. Love you guys. Anyways, I'm better now. So, yeah, after being cheated on, that one killed me, really. I was dying inside. And it's such like I'm listening to so much right now, like especially with Girls Gone Bible. I don't know if you guys have listened to them. You have to listen to them. But like, I really genuinely was dying inside and I didn't know the way out, and I couldn't get out of it. So I was at Joffrey. I'm making this sound like it was like the worst thing in my life. It was pretty bad, but Joffrey was amazing. My decisions were the bad things that kept me from succeeding to where I was going. Because also in Joffrey, I wasn't getting the lead parts. I wasn't at the level that I wanted to be at for many reasons, for obvious reasons, because I was going out and partying every night. How can you even operate like that? Like, you guys, 4 a.m. I would get home and then be in ballet class at 9 a.m. Listen, if I don't go to bed by 10:30, I ain't getting up in the morning, okay? This is serious. I'm only 25. This isn't good. But anyways, so Joffrey was amazing. I loved the dance part of it. Didn't make the best decisions. So After the 2 years, me and my roommate at the time were going to say that, we had the plan to only do 2 years. It was always my plan at Joffrey. It's a 4-year program, but my plan was to always do 2 years. Now at Joffrey, it's an only dance program. So I dance from 9 to 5 and live my best life dancing all day long. Yeah, it was great. So after Joffrey, me and my roommate had planned to move to LA. Now, we wanted to move to LA because we wanted to start dancing in LA and get all in that industry, whatever. I had auditioned for a cruise ship very, very, very last minute. My friend had called me and she was like, "Hey, you need to get to this audition. It's a great opportunity." And I was like, "I don't have anything with me. I'm on the way to class. Like, I cannot make it to this audition right now." I'm like, "I don't even have a headshot. I don't have anything printed out." She's like, "Go back home, get your clothes, get ready, and get to this audition and print out your headshot." So I did just that. I'm literally straddling the subway on the phone with her, like while the doors open, like holding the doors open, like I'm on my way to class, like I have to go. She's like, "No, get in, go back to your apartment and get your stuff." So I got my stuff and I take the subway to the audition, and next to it was a Staples. I'm like yelling at the lady. I'm like, "I need my headshot and resume printed out right now." She's like so flustered and she's like so nice. And she's like, "Good luck on your audition," as I'm like sprinting out the door, typical New York City style. I was literally always in a rush, you guys. New York City is where I learned zero patience. So thank you, New York City. If you live there, you know. Anyways, so I get to the audition. Have never danced in heels in my life. Really have never done an audition in my life. And I get to this audition and I keep making it and making it and making it and making it and making all the cuts. And then I get asked to come the next day and it's partnering. You guys, never partnered. I've never partnered. And I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm with this guy who's partnered. He's getting so frustrated with me because I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm literally trying to partner this poor man. And yeah, it was very embarrassing. So, long story short, I'm like, I literally did horrible. There's no way I'm making that. A couple months later, I get an email that I, in fact, did make the audition and I, in fact, did get a job working on a cruise ship, which was my absolute dream. And I got to be a part of the creative process. They were brand new shows that they were creating. So I got an offer to help with the creative process and also be in the company. So have a contract and work on the ships. It was 2018, July. I started the creative process with the company for a month. I walked into that audition not knowing a single thing. Again, I've never danced in heels and I've never partnered, and that's what this entire show was. So, talk about a wake up call. It was very embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. I walked in with these professional dancers. I mean, they were like 30 years old. Some of them, one other girl was like my age, a couple years older than me, but I'm like 18 years old, you guys. I'm 18. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I walk in and I'm all right, here we go. And they're telling me to do all these things and I have no idea what I'm doing. And they're trying to teach me how to partner and trying to teach me how to basically dance. And I'm like, this is the worst experience of my life, but I love every second of it. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm losing this job. They're going to tell me to leave. So they, in fact, did not tell me to leave. I made it through and I went out with flying colors. I improved so much. I got to learn how to partner. I got to learn how to dance in heels. I got to train under amazing people. I got to audition or dance. I had to dance with Paula Abdul in the room. It was only 6 of us, and Paula Abdul watched me dance, you guys, in the room. That's it. She was there. It was amazing. So I got to do that. And then a couple months later, I went back for my rehearsals with my actual cast that I was going on the cruise ship with for 4 months. So I already knew the shows. We were also learning another show in that rehearsal process. So I already knew the show from the creative process of one of them. And then the other, I was learning the other show with that cast. So the rehearsal process was, again, another month, and that was in, I believe, October. And then I got to go home for a couple weeks after the rehearsal process. I had the best time in that rehearsal process. It was just incredible. I loved every second. There was 6 of us in the cast, but we also got to rehearse with the other cast that was going on the ship as well at the same time as us. And we were just so close. We were together all day long, dancing together, sweating together, laughing together. It was honestly, I don't know if there was a better experience than that. Being that rehearsal process with those people and with that talent was something that I'll never forget. I think I was 19 now at the time because it was my birthday, had passed. And I just remember, like, wow, I don't belong here, but I'm here. I made it. Like, I did it. I've been wanting to work on a cruise ship and dance my whole entire life. And I did it. I did it from my first audition. And the pay was great and the experience was great, and I was just so happy. I'll never forget, like, that genuine happiness I felt inside. And I just miss it so much. Sorry, I get a little bit emotional because I miss those days, and I miss dancing like that. But anyways, I got to rehearse with all these people. Bleeding feet. I was literally gushing blood, like, on the floor. I had blood blisters on the bottom of my feet because, like I said, I'd never danced in heels before. And I was like the joke of the cast because I was a little baby. I was 19 years old, learning everything new. It was hilarious. I got to go home for a couple weeks after the rehearsal process, and then I got to embark on my first journey on the cruise ship. And that was wow. I remember pulling up to the cruise ship. So the company I worked for was RWS Entertainment Group, and their dancers dance on Holland America Line ships. And so I flew from New York City to Fort Lauderdale with my whole cast, and we got there the day before we embarked on the ship, and we were pulling up to the ship, and my jaw just dropped. There's a video of me, like, I was shocked. I had never been on a cruise ship, you guys, and I was going to live on a cruise ship for 4 months. I've never even, like, seen one, really, honestly. So my jaw dropped. I'm like, I'm gonna live on this. Like, this is gonna be my life. What the heck is happening? Like, how am I even qualified to do this? Kind of how I'm feeling right now with, like, the podcast. Like, honestly, the same feeling. Like, how am I qualified to do this? How am I starting this? What is going on? So we get there and we get on the ship, and I was just amazed. And a couple people in the cast had already been on cruise ships. It was just me and 2 other people in the cast. Again, there was only 6 of us. So me and 2 other people had never danced on cruise ships before, or, like, done anything like that. So we're walking around this ship, and I'm like, I'm lost. I'm never going to find my way around. How am I ever going to know where to go? Like, everyone works on the ship is from another country. Like, this is craziness. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm leaving my family. Like, this is too much. I'm about to travel to the Caribbean and, like, go be somewhere new every day. Like, what the heck is my life? So we get on the ship, and when you get on the ship for a cruise ship job, you have to go through, like, an install process. So we had to, like, install all the shows, do all the lighting. And again, like I said, these were brand new shows, so this was new to everyone. And also, this was a brand new contract. So usually as a dancer, you are a crew member on board. Also, what was new about this contract was that I had my own cabin, and I was a guest entertainer. A guest entertainer meaning I was a guest on board, but was working on the ship as a dancer. So literally, I had guest privileges. I got to do everything that guests could do: sit at the bars, lay out on the pool deck, go in the pool, go in the hot tub. Had my own cabin. Got to eat wherever I wanted to eat. Got to go to the specialty restaurants. Like, this was like, you guys, this was superior life, okay? Don't Whoever says don't work on a cruise ship, superior life, okay? There's nothing like it. Don't listen to them. It's amazing. So We're installing the shows. It's amazing, you know, whatever. Everyone told me that I was going to fall in love with one of the officers on the ship. They're like, you know, I give it 3 days and you're going to be in love with someone. And I'm like, yeah, okay, okay. Mind you, I had just gotten out of that very toxic, cheating relationship. Like, I'm like, I don't want anyone. I want to be single. I want to be on the ship single. I don't want a boyfriend. Like, heck no. I want to just live my life. I think it was a couple days. And I've met someone, and he was not from America. He was not an officer at the time, but it's called a cadet. When you're a cadet, you are training to be an officer. So basically, you're in school training to be an officer on the ship. And he had been on board for 5 months now, and he was only going to be on board for 6 months. So I met him in his last like month and a half on board. And I didn't want to date him. I didn't want to date him because, you know, he's from another country. I was like, this is weird. Like, I don't really understand all this. This is also new to me. And also, I want to be single on the ship and want to live my best life and do the things. And we ended up dating, and we dated for a year and a half. So I dated someone from the Netherlands for a year and a half. And it was a lot. It was a lot to learn about another person from another country while trying to date them, long distance, extremely long distance, while trying to be on a cruise ship and navigating a new life and all these things. And it was it was a lot. It was a lot to learn, but also I'm very grateful that I did date him when I was on board, because I also think I would have lived a very different life if I didn't date him and looked for a guy's attention and made a very bad name for my reputation on board. I had a very good reputation on board because the thing to do on a cruise ship is to cheat on people and to, you know, there's a lot of cheating involved. It's very sad, but it's the truth. And I wasn't like that, of course, because I didn't want to be like that. I had experienced that and I didn't want that for him. I didn't want that for myself. I just didn't want that. In a way, I am very thankful for that relationship that I had with him. And it was cool. I mean, I got to date someone from across the world and learn a new culture and travel the world with him, and we went everywhere. Anyways, kind of fast forwarding. Anyways, I did that contract from December to April, and it was wonderful. That contract, my first contract, was unforgettable. There's no describing the experiences that I had. I got to travel the Caribbean. I got to travel the world when I was 19 years old, and I got to live on a cruise ship, and I got to dance 3 times a week, and it was just so beautiful. You create a family on board and you become so engulfed in this cruise ship life. It's not real life. Working on a cruise ship is not real life. It's like completely and totally like another world, another life. Like, there's just no explaining it. I did that contract for that amount of time, and then from there I think I had 3 or 4 months off and I started another contract. That contract was my dream contract, you guys. I found out that I was traveling on 5 different ships, and they were all going it was all through Europe. I got to travel Europe for 4 months on the cruise, and it was incredible. I did 23 countries in 4 months, and it was an experience. Oh, we have a visitor. Would you like to sit with your mama? Everyone, pausing to introduce you to my baby girl, Kaya Rose. Kaya, do you have anything to say? This is my daughter, my lifeline, my everything, Kaya Rose. I love you so much. Oh my God. I don't think anyone understands. I just love this dog so much. So you're going to be seeing a lot of her. She's going to be in probably almost every video because she doesn't leave my side. So just get used to it. She'll be here a lot. Anyways, that was my dream contract. I traveled for 4 months, Europe, all of Europe, and in that time, that contract was great, but it also was a very toxic environment for me. I was with a cast that wasn't like my first one. It was a lot of toxic energy and a lot of gossip. It was just it wasn't what I had in my first contract. That contract was kind of hard for me in the sense that it was a lot of toxicity, but I also was getting back into my pattern again. And I was getting into the pattern of drinking to the point of not being able to remember anything, and drinking to the point of trying to erase my problems and erase what was going on in my life. At that point, that relationship that I was in with the guy in Europe, it was very, very toxic, and it was starting to get very controlling, abusive in some ways, and it was a lot again, because I was back to the point of, well, this is what I deserve. This is just what I'm meant for. This is what God has planned for me. This is what God wants me to be. God wants me to be with a type of person like this. This is just it. I just didn't believe that there was better for me out there, and I didn't believe that I deserved better. I couldn't really do anything without him knowing what I was doing. It kind of was like that sort of thing. And he visited me a lot on the ship, and the cast didn't really like him. That caused a lot of issues. And it was just a whole lot of drama and a lot of going back into my old patterns that I was in my New York City days. And it affected my life again, and it affected my job. And here I am dancing on a cruise ship in Europe, and I'm more focused on my boy relationship that clearly isn't even worth it than I am my job that I have been working for my entire life. I'm more worried about the parties, about the drinking. I was more worried about going to the officers bar and getting wasted. And it's like, I just can't believe that that's what I wanted for myself. And I can't believe that I didn't know that I was better than that. And the whole reason I didn't is because I didn't have God at the center of my life. I didn't have his word. I didn't have his guidance on my life. And no wonder that I was such a mess, and so in such a bad place, because who was my who was my role model? I didn't have a role model. I'm on a ship with everyone, on the ship everyone's drinking, everyone's partying. That's a thing to do on the cruise ships, because there's not really much else to do, which is fine, but it wasn't good for me. It wasn't healthy for me. So, my relationship kept going, whatever. I finished out that contract, and it was, again, still the greatest contract of my life, but I mentally wasn't okay. I was living, but I wasn't thriving, like I was just going through the everyday motions of like, okay, this is what my life's supposed to be. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do every day. I'm supposed to drink every day. Like I'm supposed to just drink away the pain and not be okay inside, but it got me nowhere. So I finished out that contract, and a couple months later, I got another contract, rehearsals for this next contract. And like this cast, you guys, like this was my dream cast. Okay, this cast was just unbelievable. I mean, that cast was my family. Like genuinely, those were my people, and I loved them so much. Like it was just the best. Like it was so healthy, and it was so exciting, and it was just so good. And we were on board from, I believe, the middle of January, and then until March 15th when COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I was devastated. Like I finally also, my first two contracts, I didn't have like the lead role in the shows, and this third contract I had finally gotten the lead role that I had been working for since 2018 when I first got into that company. And I finally got my lead role. I was just so thrilled, and I was so proud of myself, and these people were just so amazing, and it was such a healthy environment, and we had so much fun. And I still was with my boyfriend at the time, and things are kind of dwindling, and I was kind of realizing like, okay, this isn't for me. But it was incredible. And I was in the Caribbean again at that time, and when we got the notice that that the world was shutting down, we all were like, yeah, okay. We got like Corona beers and we're like cheersing, like, yeah, Corona. I hope you get it. Like, I hope we get it. Like, yeah. And it was a couple of days later that we were told that we may be stuck on the ship or we will be going home. And we were this close to being stuck on the ship, y'all. Like, this was craziness. And we got off, and I went home, and I just remember being crushed. And we were told, like everyone, that it was the 30 days, and it was not the 30 days. And I now in 2024 still have not danced on that ship since. And I'm crushed, and I miss it so much. Like, that losing that job and not being able to go back was kind of like the breaking point for me. So I know most of you know, actually, I don't know who's going to be listening to this, but so you guys know I didn't go back because they did start requiring vaccinations, and I did not want to get vaccinated, so I did not, and they still require it, so to work on board, so I have not gone back. When COVID hit, I lost a lot of people because of my beliefs, because of my political views. I have 3 people that I still talk to on the ships, and I had a lot more than that. I was told that I'm a hater, that I don't support them, that I don't support who they are, their rights, everything like that. When, if you know me, you know that that's anything but the truth. I am the most supportive, most loyal person there ever is. And just because my beliefs don't align with someone else's, that doesn't mean I don't love you. And that doesn't mean that I don't wish the best for you or still want to be a part of your life. I'm so thankful for the 3 people that I do have that have accepted who I am and know who I am, because I'm there for them for anything they need, I'm there. And it will always be that way. So COVID happened and I really lost a lot of friends. But COVID happened and I met my boyfriend. And I met my boyfriend when I was visiting down here in Florida. And we'll tell you about our story one day when we do our podcast together. But after I got off in March, I met him in May and I moved down to Florida in August. I moved down to Florida in August, packing 2 suitcases in the hopes that I was going back on the ship. But I also moved down not only for him, but I did get a dance teaching job down here, and I also told them, like, when the ships come back, I'm going back on the ships. And that was obviously not the case, and I taught at that dance studio for a year. And from there, I started being a closet designer at my boyfriend's family's company, and I have been doing that ever since. So my life kind of took a turn. I went from dancing every day. I went from dance being my life to dance kind of not being my life anymore, and it's been hard. I've had breakdowns, I've had meltdowns, I've had just so much like inside of me that I just miss it and I want it, and I want to dance so bad again, but I also know that God has me exactly where I'm supposed to be right now for a reason. Moving down here, I thought my dance opportunities were going to grow, but they've done everything but that. Living in a small town, there isn't any dance opportunities really here. I am a part of a company called Wings to Fly Dance Company, where we dance with kids in wheelchairs, and that has been the biggest blessing to me. Dancing with kids who are not able to walk and move how we are every day. It's been amazing to give that gift to them and dance with them. So that has been amazing since I've been here. But I'm also not dancing every day like I have been my whole life. So I went from a structured lifestyle to basically no structure at all. And it's been hard to navigate and it's been hard to figure out. But I also, in 2020, in 2020, actually, I started my personal development journey, and I'm so thankful for my boyfriend and his family for introducing that to me. I went to a program called Clemmer, and there's 4 or 5 different programs of it, and I did the first 2 so far. The first one's called Personal Mastery, and that's a weekend. It was here in West Palm, and I went to that, and I was like, wow, like this is everything I've ever needed in my life. Like, holy crap. And I, from there, signed up for the next step, which was called the advanced program. And the advanced program was a week-long program in Arizona, and all I can say is wow. Wow. Like that brought me from my pit of darkness, from my I'm not good enough, I'm never going to dance again, from my dad issues, from my everything, my life issues from when I was born to now, and brought me through all of that. There's not much I can say about the program because it is kind of a disclosed program that you really, when you go into it, you don't really want to know much about it, which I'm so grateful that I didn't know anything about it because I got the full experience. But it was incredible, and it showed me my programs that I'm going through in life, why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, and how I can be better and how I can advance in life. And ever since that, like my finances tripled, and me and my boyfriend are able to communicate in a specific way. So when we're going through something, we know how to communicate to each other instead of blowing up, which I'm used to as well. I come from a crazy Italian family. Yeah, I love them, but they're crazy. Like New Yorkers times a million. Like they're wild, but I love them so much. But I've also had to learn to not be in the programs that they're in. And I've had to learn how to communicate better and not yell all the time and not scream because my boyfriend doesn't respond to that. And me yelling and screaming and being in this constant energy that's like up here and he's down here, it's getting us nowhere, where there's no middle ground. If someone's up here in a frequency, this is a really good thing that I've learned that I really, really hope that this helps you guys. When someone's up here at a frequency and you are staying down here, you want to get them to your level. You want to get them to match your energy, because having someone up here and you stay down here, it's going and you get them to here, it's going to make your conversations be so much better and make your conversations be so much easier, because you're talking at a level of peace, at a level of groundedness, instead of a level of anxiety and stress and pressure and all of these things, because no one can operate from this. It's impossible. I used to think I could operate in that level. I can't operate in that level. When I'm grounded, when I'm sitting and I'm in peace, that's when I operate the best, and that's when my life is in its best place. So that's something that I've taken by frequencies. You don't want to be up here, and you don't want to get people up here to your level. You want to bring them down to your level, because that's how you're really going to communicate with someone. So communication has been key since I've done that program, and that was a really big shift and a game changer for my life. So thank you, Clemmer. Thank God for Clemmer. And then that changed me and my boyfriend's relationship. And then me and Chase's relationship kind of went on a decline for a bit. And then we reconnected with God. And let me tell you, reconnecting with God is the greatest gift that you could ever have. And if there's one thing that I can encourage you to do, is to find God. I've been saying it all over my social media because I can't believe my life changes since September 10th when I reconnected with God. Me and Chase's relationship, my relationships with people, my friendships now, it's crazy. He is faithful, he is good, he is amazing. And ever since I stopped gearing my life towards the things and started focusing on God, is when everything just changed. I don't know how to explain it other than it's amazing, and I can't wait to dive into God with you guys, into his word, and into everything that involves him, because I am going to be doing that on this podcast, and that is going to be something that I definitely want to focus on. But I kind of just wanted to jump on here today, introduce myself, tell you a little bit about my life. I know we kind of got in depth about some of the things, but we are going to get deeper, and we're going to just encourage on here. We're going to pray. We're going to praise. We're going to learn about God. And I'm learning as well. I'm not perfect. I have a lot to learn and a lot to figure out. I can't wait to bring you guys on this journey with me. I can't wait to show you the tools that I've learned. I can't wait to just dive into everything with you, and I can't wait to create this community. It's going to be amazing. So this is the end of episode 1 of Keeping It Real. Come back for more. I'm excited to explore with you guys. I'm excited to talk about topics that you want to hear. I'm excited to bring people onto this podcast. It's going to be so fun, you guys. Like, this is so great. I've been wanting to do this for so long. So yeah, I can't wait, and I can't wait for you all to follow along on the journey. I know there's going to be some haters and there's going to be some lovers, and I'm ready for whatever that entails. Stay out there, stay faithful, and just bring light to this world, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with you. So keep it real out there, you guys. Have a great day.